Okay, seems we are having a few technical issues. If somebody can hear and see me now, okay. Success. I'm really glad I didn't start the webinar. Okay, thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Joe, for the folks that just replied and someone that just texted me to say they couldn't see me. Okay, fantastic. We have got the show on the road and folks are in. So sorry for the slight delay, but the good news is the technology is with us now. So I'll get to the slideshow. And okay, so you're saying there's no sound. Sound now? Can you hear me now? I want to make sure everyone can hear me and see the presentation. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, Francis and Layla, Pauline and Joe. Fantastic. So I will start the presentation. Okay, good. Thanks, guys. And then, just so you know, I'm not going to go back to the chat room until the end, and then I'm going to open it up for questions at the end. Okay? So if there's a serious problem, please text me. I did text everybody, or most people, earlier today. Okay. So welcome to the webinar. And I want to start by saying, for those of you that don't know me, there's a number of you that do. My name is Julie Smith, and I'm going to host the webinar tonight. I will tell you a bit of background on me in just a moment. But I want to talk to you about my approach to meditation, which is success through stillness. And definitely we want to go through a meditation so you can actually experience it. So again, just a quick overview, because what is the purpose of what we're doing today? For those that haven't experienced meditation, I do these webinars for free so that people can get a taste of it. That's how I started long ago. Thank goodness people were just kind of throwing it out there and give you an idea of what it's like, not from reading a book, but from actually doing it. And also a taste of my approach to see if it's something that matches with you, because that's important. Also, for those that come to the webinars regularly, it's a continuation. So we've gone through the first 4 steps since January. Now we're on the 5th step. So that's for the folks that have been coming regularly. So today, what we're going to be doing, again, short introduction of myself for those that don't know me and my approach. We're going to talk specifically about the step 5, which is connection to your heart chakra. And I'll explain what that means before we go into it. I'm going to give you a few practical tips because I think that's important. So before you start a meditation, what are we doing? Like, how do you sit? All of those kinds of things. And then the experience of meditation. So important because you just can't get it all from reading the theory or practicing on your own. Getting some teaching is important. And then I think probably the most important part, that's why I do webinars, is because rather than, face-to-face are the best, but this gives you the ability to interact, ask questions at the end. Even though you can't talk to me, you can actually write some questions. Okay? So success through stillness. Again, I should talk about me. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So my name is Julie Smith. I'm from Canada. I've been over here in the UK for about 13 years. And I come from a corporate background, a very corporate background, and I'm still in a corporate background as well, actually. And I'm not afraid to say that about 20 years ago, I would have thought all this kind of stuff was a bit cuckoo bananas. And for a long time, after I was a meditator, I was a closet meditator. I didn't want folks at work to know what I was doing, even though inside it was totally transforming me. That's how I felt. And when I talk about success through stillness, it's interesting because I never thought success and meditation, that didn't mix. How could that mix? You had to give up success to be a meditator. And it's so not true. It's very natural for the human spirit to want success. And I mean that because we all want to grow and expand. That's, again, the natural way of us. So they go hand in hand, and actually stillness, meditation will help you tap into that great potential you have and make you more successful. But now I'm going into the approach. So back to myself a little bit. The teachers I have, I think a lot of people have questions about that. So my main two teachers, one lives in Mumbai, his name is Ravi Ratan. And my other main teacher, I just saw him, he was in the UK. His name is Alan Wallace, and he is a student of the Dalai Lama. I've been very blessed to have met him in, I got connected with him when I was in Thailand. And those are my main two teachers if you want to look those up. And I do tend to go to the root of the teachings rather than, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad to get teachings in the UK. I've gone to Scotland, the Holy Isle, many different places, but I've gone mostly to where the root of the teachings are. So Thailand, India, Nepal. And I usually try to take a 10-day vow of silence each year. And I find that helps me go deeper into the meditation. So probably enough about me, but gives you some highlights. But I think the key message I want to get across today is that the gateway to success is really through stillness. It's not about being busy. That's just such a big word for all of us. It's not about being more cutthroat. It's actually about tapping into yourself. And when you get to that success, you feel happier, more at ease, more fulfilled. It comes faster for you. And it's interesting to me because, and I include myself in this, that my natural way is almost to be afraid of stillness. It's like we're addicted to that busyness. You have to be constantly moving because we're afraid to tap into what's within us. And this approach really turns that on its head. It turns it around completely. So most people, they start by asking me, what the heck is meditation? How do you define that? And quite simply, again, it comes back to this success through stillness. It's about stillness. So it's two main things. It's about training the mind to be aware of what's within and connecting to that. So it's tuning in within ourselves. And that stillness that I'm talking about is always there within us. So meditation is actually training. It's about training the mind to access it on a regular basis and when you are moving through life. So if you practice regularly, you will be able to use these tools and apply them to your everyday life. So I put a diagram together, and I hope it makes sense to you, but it's just that simple. The aim of meditation, or the aim of my approach, is really about moving from a place of disconnection to a place where we feel more connected. Because it seems like we have all these problems, they're perceived problems that are blocking us from success. And really there's one problem, it's that we're disconnected. And when I say disconnected, what I mean is we're disconnected firstly from ourselves, our body. There was all sorts of things going on within me that I'm almost trying to be unaware of until I became a meditator. So sensations that are happening, pain, different things that are going on within the body. And we try to, numb them almost with trying to, not go to the root of what those issues are. Emotionally as well, just unaware of my own emotions. My mind, where is that mind? It's all over the place, it's scattered. So again, it's about connecting to that. We not just with ourselves, but with others, we start putting up barriers to other people, to our environment. How disconnected are we from nature, as an example? So again, if you can think of it, the aim of this is to move from this place of disconnection where we have barriers, we're blocking things, emotions, all sorts of things. And that, without going into detail, is really based in a fear mindset. And moving from that fear mindset to a love mindset, to that place of where we feel more connected. Okay, so enough about that. So again, I talk about stillness within and getting that sense of connection. So to explain the 5 steps just really quickly, there's many techniques that I teach at each of these steps, but the important thing is, to learn as many of those as you can. We'll go through one today. Not overwhelm yourself with them, but when something resonates, to practice that one, that does resonate with you. Okay. But really, the 5 steps are based on 2 really simple principles. The first one is about releasing. So that first step is about connection to our physical body. So goodness me, it's really hard to meditate and concentrate on something if you're really tense in the body. So that first step is about letting go of the physical and allowing the body to relax. The second one is the same in the sense of release, but on an emotional level. Again, if we're caught up in emotion, it's really hard for us to, be still. And so it's about using tools to let go, forgiveness, acceptance, letting go of guilt, those types of things. Third step is about mind. So at a mental level, actually letting go, like decluttering the mind. So we have more focus, more clarity. And this progressively, each step helps us get to this step we're at today, which is the 5th step. The 4th step, we talked about the last meditation webinar. And that's about connecting to an inner stillness. And again, that helps us so much today connect to the heart chakra. If you are adept at connecting to an inner stillness that we find within, then you can go kind of to that next level. So those first 3 steps are about releasing. The last 2 steps are about alignment with really the essence of who we really are. And again, like I say about don't get caught up in how many techniques and all the different techniques that you learn. The key bit is knowing that taking the one that resonates with you, or many of them, yeah, whatever resonates with you when I teach it, pick that up and continue to practice it. And as you go through these 5 steps, you will find you'll just get a deeper and deeper connection, moving along that continuum towards connection. So today, again, we are going to go specifically into this 5th step, which is connecting to the heart chakra. Okay. And if you have any questions, no problem, just save them up and we'll talk at the end. I'll address each of those. But right now you're probably going, what is this heart chakra thing? If you're not familiar with chakras. So the purpose, and again, trust me, chakras, this is way beyond the context of today. We won't go into chakras because that is a whole like, I teach retreats on that, days and days. But again, a long time ago, I would have thought if someone said, open your heart and, connect to your heart chakra, feel that loving kindness within, what a bunch of flowery nonsense I would have thought, to be frank. But yet now, I cannot think of a more practical way to connect, use the power of my mind to connect to my body and feel that connection within. So it's allowing yourself to feel the emotion and allow that to resonate from you. And it very quickly moves us from that point of disconnection to connection, where we're feeling love, kindness. And it's just the most practical thing. I use it at work all the time, to be frank. And I can tell you how, if we want to go into that at some point. But I can say for sure, if you feel angry or frustrated, points when you feel lonely, I mean, I got to say, I used to be afraid or embarrassed, really, to say that to people. Oh, I feel lonely, or I feel needy, or worried, or, I'm creating barriers. But this technique, or this step, techniques within this step, are really, really helpful for when we all feel those things at some points. It's just the way it is. But remember that love is our natural state. And so that's our natural state, but yet we've trained ourselves to get out of that state. So these meditations, this step is about retraining ourselves to experience it regularly. It's like we've forgotten it. And we just go down that path of fear. And instead, we just want to move ourselves back to love. So at those, I think it's important to note that when you do feel those kind of emotions I was talking about, worrisome, lonely, frustrated, angry, this is a great practice for you. And again, a teacher I had on a retreat in Thailand, wonderful man, he talked about, I thought he put it wonderfully. I wish I could remember exactly how he said it. But I was in a vow of silence, so I didn't even write it down. But it was something about the idea of experiencing the opposite. And so really, anger is a perfect example, or worry, but we'll talk about anger. Anger is totally based in fear. It's like at those moments, we've lost our ability to connect with love completely. Yeah. And if I said to you, so this is what he talked about, is if I said to you, what is it that you're angry about? It, and you say, oh, it's this is big list. Yeah. And I went, well, let me just wave my anger magic wand and it just disappears. How wonderful would that be? Except I can tell you, I'm almost guaranteeing that the next day you would have new reasons to be angry, because it's not what's outside, it's what's within. And it's that we've created this habit with our mind to go directly to that, things to be angry about, things to worry about. If you tend to be a worrier, even if I took all those worries away, you would have them back or new ones the next day. So what he said was, go into meditation regularly, every day, and remember what it feels like to feel the opposite of those things. So it's learning to reconnect with that feeling, love. And it just naturally, if you're practicing regularly, it will become more predominant in your life. That's just the way it works. But you have to practice regularly. Okay, so sorry, I'm spending a lot of time on that, but I think it's important. So how do we connect to, how do we create this new habit? But it is, again, about tuning into the heart chakra. And so the heart chakra, where that is at, without, again, going into detail about chakras, it's this point between your breasts, right at the center of your chest. That's where it is in your body. And what we are doing is simply using the power of your mind to connect to that point. So it's like, pay attention. Pay attention to your own body change. Feel the energy that's there, feel the sensations that arise. What does it feel like? So even if it becomes blank, it's difficult for you to connect to it, you just need to practice. You will be able to. If you experience apprehension, just as calmly as you can, go back to breathing, focusing on your breath, move your attention back. If you, especially with the heart chakra, if you feel apprehension, do that. Go back into a calm state, watching the breath, but continue to try to connect this point. And then the second part is then experiencing the emotion from that point, like it's resonating from that point. So the sense of compassion, it's within you. So allow it to arise and feel it towards yourself and allow it just to kind of resonate from that point. That's what we're doing here. So you can make it a habit to be able to tune into this point in your body, and you can use it throughout your day. So I'm going to go through just a few common questions. I think I've already answered about, is this practical? I use it at work all the time. I can tell you, when I feel, even if someone is being challenging at work, I can tell you from experience, if I've sat across the table from them thinking, you're a jerk, you're a jerk, you're a jerk, you're a jerk, it's not very helpful. And yet, if I feel that I'm giving them kindness and genuine compassion, I mean, they're suffering people as well, just like me. And if I can find it within myself to send them compassion and love, I think compassionate leadership it would help us all. But it is completely practical, because I'm telling you, meetings go a lot smoother when you have that coming directly from your heart, genuinely. Okay, do you need the first 4 steps? I think I mentioned before that you can practice this now, definitely. Anyone can practice anything about connection to your heart chakra, opening up to love, any of the techniques that I use at this step. But the first 4 steps will help you go much deeper, because if you learn how to relax with your, using your mind to relax your body, if you learn how to let go emotionally, if you learn how to connect to a stillness within you, this will come much easier, much deeper. Okay. And if you are interested in that, I do have classes. I'm going to tell you, I think the next one is on the 13th of this month. We're going to be teaching I'm going to be teaching 2 very powerful methods. Metta, which is we are going to connect with ourselves, loving kindness, and use it on people that we have conflict with. And we're going to be using sound to resonate at the heart chakra, which really allows us to connect to that area better. But a key thing, my teacher always says this, and I love it, is that don't take my word for this. If it sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, or even if it sounds like, hey, that sounds like, that could work, test it out yourself. This isn't about what I believe, it's about what you experience. So I just encourage people to test it out, because trust me, I never would have, glad I did. Okay, so a few important messages, because I think this is always important when I'm teaching meditation to go over it for beginners. Because key success factors, you have to commit to regular practice. And I'm not saying commit to me or anyone else, commit to yourself. That's what I'm talking about. And what does regular mean? You know, this is a good question I get asked all the time. I'm saying even 3-4 times a week, 15 minutes. You know, if you start at 7, that's the minimum. But that will give you an impact. It did for me. For the first number of years, I was only practicing 3 or 4 times a week, and it made a difference. Now I practice every day, of course, but it will provide an impact. And why? I'm saying this again, like I always go back to tennis, is that, you know, those guys are out there practicing every day because it becomes habitual. So when they're on the real day of playing a match, their strokes are just natural. It comes habitually. So I'm saying in meditation, if you practice these concepts regularly in meditation, they will emerge into your regular life just naturally. You don't have to make them happen, although you will be more aware, so you can bring them into the daily life as well. Okay. Interactive guidance. Again, I can't forget that because I think it's so important to be engaged. I think apps, guided meditations, all these things, books are fantastic. I provide them as well. But you need to be able to, especially at the beginning, but even then, all throughout your meditation kind of life journey, is you need to be able to ask questions and get support. And no matter what level, because my teacher, Alan, you know, I think he's been practicing, let's say 45 years, he still has a teacher. I think it benefits you completely, like anything. And again, why is because what I see is that when people have a teacher, have some support, they're more likely to continue on their own. The depth of the meditation is just much more deeper, and they get the support to move on. So it is just a great thing. And this isn't some sales thing, because if you know resonates with me, if you resonate with me, I resonate with you, great. But if not, then find someone that does, you know, someone that feels right, someone that you trust. That's important. Okay, so time for the practical tips. People always ask, what posture? And I teach 10 different postures. There's loads of postures, even more than the 10 I teach. But for today, if you're starting out, if you are a regular meditator, if you're in my advanced class as an example, goodness me, you practice however you like. But if you're starting out, sitting in a chair is the best, because you want to have your spine straight so the energy flows up and down it easily. You want to have your feet flat on the floor. Do not be sitting cross-legged and your back against a wall. That is the worst position. So sit comfortably. So somewhere that you feel at ease. So your posture is not going to be a distraction for you. You'll have enough distractions created by you. The second point is an alert mind, because I thought, actually lots of people I teach at the beginning think, oh yeah, time to relax, oh, it's sleepy time almost, and it's not that at all. I call it a hovering point, where you allow your body to relax, but you're alert, you're aware of it. It's like you're watching your body relax. Wow. And it's a whole new state, honestly. That was the first time I meditated. I thought, what the heck is that? I never felt that before. Because either I was relaxed, zonked out, daydreaming almost, but this is aware and relaxed. It's this wonderful combination. And that's why, you know, people that have problems sleeping, it can help you there as well. A key one, how to deal with distractions. And I can't say this enough, even for you know, practiced people that practice regularly. Don't sit there and fight your own mind. That's the tendency. If you're distracted, you're distracted. Simply move your attention back to what you're supposed to be focused on. So in this case, the heart chakra or the breathing. So sounds will distract you, pains, oh goodness, they come up. Thoughts, you know, we create our own distraction, really. It's a whole story going on in that mind. So it's just acknowledge it. Ah, my mind has wandered. How interesting. Okay, come back, come back. I don't care if you wander off 100 times during this 15-minute meditation. The key is to come back to and redirect your mind back to what you're supposed to focus on. Okay, so that's the main stuff. Before I get into the guided meditation, I am going to take a moment, go back and see if at this point there's any questions from anybody. in the chat room. Okay, so I'm going to give you a second now just to ask any questions that you have, because I don't want you going into the meditation feeling like you have a question, burning question. Get ready to, in your chosen posture. Okay, it doesn't seem like anyone has any questions, which is good. So go back to this presentation. And some people like to have their eyes open. I would suggest, unless you have been practicing some time, that's why I have this picture here though. So if you do like to focus in on something, this is a good image to focus on, okay? But other than that, I would suggest that you just close your eyes and sit in that good posture that's relaxed. And in a moment, I will start the meditation. If I get my timer ready. Okay. So at the sound of the bell, simply begin by closing your eyes. And start by taking those 3 long, slow, deep breaths. So breathe all the way down into your abdomen. Really puff the abdomen out. Breathe deeply. And then just release. 3 times long, slow, deep breaths. So controlled breathing at this moment. So that you breathe long, you breathe deep. And after that 3rd breath, just allow your body to breathe. No controlling the breath anymore, just being in touch with the breath, being aware of it. Feeling that natural ebb and flow of the breath as it moves in and out. And really pay attention. Notice those natural movements, those natural sensations that occur in your body as you breathe. Tune into them for a change. Pay attention. And you don't need to create anything. Just watch what does occur. You might feel some tingling. You might feel the movement of air coming in and out. You may feel heat, perspiration, whatever that is, probably around the area of the nose. Just allow it to be and be aware of it. You may feel sensations, movements. Maybe the chest or the abdomen is rising and falling as you breathe. So just be aware of each breath, be present with every breath. And really allow yourself to relax into every breath that you take. It's like this gentle gust of wind. The breath moves in the body. And as you release the body, it's like this letting go. Like all this rubbish is just flowing out with the out breath. You feel like you're releasing all this tension in the body, this busyness in the mind. It just seems to flow out with the out breath. And you feel your body let it go. So allow yourself to relax. More and more relaxed with every breath you take. So more and more relaxed, but still aware. It's like you're watching your body relax, allowing the body just to let go. More and more with each breath. Completely in this space. And when you do find the mind wandering, simply acknowledge whatever that distraction is and bring the mind back. It's okay to be distracted. The key is to recognize it, be aware of it, and move your mind back at this stage to the breath. In silence for a moment only. And now, take your attention to the area of your heart chakra. That's that point right at the center of your chest, between your breasts. And just feel the natural flow of energy at that point, the sensations that arise. You may feel warmth or tingling. Maybe you feel your heartbeat. Whatever it is, just be with it. Recognize. Tune into your own body for a change. If you feel any anxiety, simply go back to the breath, following each breath in and out. But to the best of your ability, keep your mind at the heart chakra. And as your mind is at that point, begin to visualize this little pearl of light, radiant light. Maybe you even see it like a little star, like a diamond, shining. However you see it, like this pearl of light. See it at the center of your chest. And feel like that love is filled with joy and peace and love. Feel that within you at that point. Feel that sense of love naturally arising at that point of the body. And with every breath that you take in, see that light getting brighter and brighter. And every time you breathe out, imagine that that light is dispersing through the rest of your body. So feel that radiant light filling your entire body with love, like it's permeating every part of your being. So send that loving kindness that naturally arises from your heart to yourself. Feel it move through your entire being as best that you can. Visualize it if you can, but certainly feel. Allow yourself to really tune in. And every time you breathe out and that light begins to expand, imagine that it's driving out any imbalance, any suffering that you have in your mind, your body. So see it happen as vividly as you can and feel it within the body. Feel that emotion, that sense simply of loving kindness, of compassion flowing out from your heart chakra. Allow yourself to sense that peacefulness, that joy, that kindness, that love towards yourself. This is a time to be loving to yourself. So use this time to be kind to you, to accept yourself as you are. Simply sitting, tuning into your heart chakra, feeling that sense of compassion and love arising from that point, and letting it flow through your entire being in silence. And as you sit in this connection with your own heart chakra, say these words with as much meaning as you can. May I be free from fear. May I be free from fear. May I be happy. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. May I live with ease. May I live with love. May I live with love. And now begin to see that light, that glowing light that is at the center of your chest. See that now expanding further outwards, past the perimeter of your own body, your own physical being. And see it as light, that almost like a mist that is cascading over your entire body. And feel its warmth, like a little blanket of love, like a little hug all around you. Feel that warmth, that lightness, that feeling of love blanketing around you, like a little aura covering your entire body, keeping you at peace, full of warmth and happiness. And every time you breathe in, bring more light and love into you. Every time you breathe out, allow that light, that lovingness to expand further beyond you. It's like you're overflowing with love, just naturally. So feel that field of light around you. And let that light begin to expand. If it feels comfortable for you, feel it filling the entire room, the entire building you are in. Allow it to float out of this building and just see it permeating the entire world. Send that loving kindness to everyone, emitting warmth. Just have that sense of radiating love and compassion, joy and peace. And in a moment, I'm going to ring the bell 3 times, and you can rise in meditation, doing so in your own time. Okay, so I'm going to continue with the presentation. We are running a little bit over, probably due somewhat to those technical difficulties and me just, talking too much. But it is one of my favorite kind of areas, so let's continue. Let's try to continue with this presentation. Okay, so just some of the key messages. Again, that your gateway to success is really through this illness. When I talk about the main aim is moving from being disconnected to connected. If you're trying to figure out, what am I doing this for? And what is the purpose? That is it. And that will naturally happen as you meditate more. Always remembering that don't get overwhelmed with all the different techniques. At each step, there is a number of techniques. But if this resonated with you today, great. continue practicing that. If not, there's other things that I teach. You can tune in and learn new ones. And if that resonates with you, or you have some already in your pocket, do that. So don't pick the ones that aren't working for you unless you're at a more advanced stage, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you are. Making it a new habit to connect. Again, you can do this anywhere. If you start training regularly, you'll know what I mean, that you can just connect. You feel it. You get a sense of what it's like to that experience. So make it a habit. When you remember, well, actually, I do teach ways to pepper that through your day, but try to make it a habit. And again, don't take my word for it. And if you're interested in what I'm talking about here, metta, about using this loving kindness with people that you're in conflict with, people that you love as well, we're going to be doing that in the class. Or you're interested in the resonance of sound to wake up at different chakra points, we'll be doing that as well. But now I'm going to hand it over to the questions, because I think that's a really key aspect. Not forgetting, here's the information as well if you want to come to either of the classes. We are going to be taking August off, so the next webinar is in September. And that's because there's just so many of my members that are away in August. We will have an advanced class, mind you, in August, but other than that, it's starting back up in September. But that's the information, and so I will keep that up for a little bit. Let's see, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. So back to here. So if you guys can still hear and see me, then by all means, go into the chat room and write down any questions that you have. And one question I have for you, in case there is no question, sometimes there's no happy medium. It seems there's a million questions or no questions. But especially for people that are newer to this, how did you find that? That meditation was 15 minutes. Did it feel longer? Did it feel shorter? It'd be interesting to hear what you feel about that. But I will open to questions if anyone has any more. Let's just see if anyone texted me. Okay. Doesn't look like there's many questions today for anybody. I hope you had a good experience. I think lots of times after meditation, it's difficult because you're in a different kind of state. But again, even if there's questions afterwards, by all means, contact me. My email address is up there. And by all means, I'm open to just answering any questions you have. This will be sent out to you, so you can replay it later as well. And again, I think that's really helpful because the only way to get better at this is to practice. Okay. Pauline, you are not alone. Pauline saying here, I sometimes find it hard to send loving thoughts to people I am angry with. Yes, this is difficult. And what I would say to that is do the best you can at that moment. So one of the tricks I usually usually just as I'm going to sleep. Okay, isn't that funny? But I think, yes, actually, this is a perfect time. Pauline, thanks for that last bit, because it's a perfect time. Often when we're going to get angry, so before I was a meditator, I had a lot of sleep problems. I went to a sleep doctor. After I became a meditator, that subsided drastically, those problems. But this idea of doing loving kindness meditation before bed is really great, because if you have an argument with somebody, as an example, and you go to bed, you have a bad sleep. So if you fill yourself with loving kindness before, it can make such a difference to the quality of your sleep. You feel much better. You're resonating at a higher level, basically. So I recommend this. This is part of my sleep system, actually, this particular meditation. But also this idea with conflict, it takes a bit of practice. And it again, one of the tricks I use is to see that person as a suffering person as well. I know when I act badly towards somebody, it's because of my own stuff, my own suffering. And if I can see that within somebody, it's like I see them as a child, and I have more ability to have compassion for them. We all have those moments, some people more than others, let's be honest. And also another thing is, people that are hard on other people are usually very, very hard on themselves. So if you can bring yourself to see them as a suffering person and do the best that you can at that moment. Don't try to force it, because you know it's not genuine, and that's okay too. You're not a bad person to not be able to do that. We all feel that way sometimes. So do the best that you can, and this is going to help you as well as them. So good question. Thank you for that. Because like I say, most people feel this. So Joe has a question. How do you know if your heart chakra is open? Well, this is a good question as well. Because you will feel generally more sensation around that chakra point. So everybody has different levels of openness around each chakra point. There's 7 main chakra points. So it's not unusual that you'll have 1, 2, maybe all of them very blank at first. I know there were some of them for me at the beginning. I thought, wow, that part of my body exists. Oh, where is it? Honestly, blank. So just continue to practice. And the more sensation you'll feel, the more kind of colors, the more things that come in, then you know it's beginning to open. And trust me, if it feels very blank and it starts to open, you will sense that. It's hard to put into words, but because everyone will feel it slightly differently, but you will start to know. Cool, good, I'm glad. Glad it's helpful. That's what I would say is each chakra point that you'll start to feel more sensation, more kind of visualization, those types of things. If it's closed, you'll have a harder time just connecting with that space. But do persist without that kind of clamping down persistence, like how we're taught. Oh, I must try harder. I must try harder. Actually, just don't do that. Relax more. That's another key thing is when you're focused, it's like this gentle attention that you're placing in these areas. Gentle attention, rest your mind there, do the best you can. If you don't be attached to finding something. You don't have to find anything. You just are aware of it. And often, the harder you try, the more resistance you'll find. So it's this ability, which we're talking about, step 1 through 3, is of releasing. Those are the times to just relax, let go. If you feel you're trying too hard, this is the time to stand back, watch your breath, feel yourself relaxing emotionally, mentally, physically, and then it'll start to work better for you. Cool. Okay, you're welcome. And I think that's about it. So not too many more, no more questions actually that I can see. And so we're a few minutes over. Thank you very much, everyone. But again, if you didn't think of anything, but you think of something afterwards, by all means, contact me by phone, by email. And it might take a day or two for me to get back to you via email, but I will. So look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.